This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 19th day of December in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition Member of Parliament Amanza Walton Desir today grilled the Foreign Minister Hugh Todd on the Aral Declaration that came out of the talks between President Finali and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro last week in St. Vincent. During today's sitting of the National Assembly, the opposition MP submitted that while the Aral Declaration addresses a need for both countries to refrain from any action which might aggravate or extend the dispute, as outlined in the second provisional measure handed down by the International Court of Justice, it did not address the first provisional measure. According to that measure, Venezuela shall refrain from taking any action which would modify the situation that currently prevails in the Essequibo region, which is administered by Guyana and for which Guyana has control. It was against that background that the APNU-AFC parliamentarian questioned whether Guyana insisted on having aspects of the first provisional measure included in the declaration.
If you request it, why isn't that reflected in the declaration?
The foreign minister responded in the affirmative, but the response did not sit well with the opposition MP. In a second attempt to allay the concerns of the opposition, Foreign Minister Todd told the House that the declaration was founded on the basis of peace and allows for both countries to discuss issues of mutual interest. According to him, it was incorporated into that context. But the opposition MP fired back, telling the House that the issue is too important to be left to the imagination of Guyanese or other parties.
Mr. Speaker, we have a document titled the Declaration, but the Honourable Member expects us to accept that a matter as important as ensuring that the security that Guyana enjoys from the interim decision of the ICJ, that we are to imply it in a declaration. The essence of a declaration is for something to be stated and declared, Mr. Todd. So that answer is completely unacceptable.
Alluding to the declaration, the foreign minister said that while aspects of the ICJ provisional measures are not explicitly stated in the declaration, Venezuela has agreed to maintain the peace.
Honourable member would recall that Venezuela agreed not to threaten or use force against Guyana, either directly or indirectly in any circumstances, including those consequential to any existing controversies between the two states.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs added that the neighboring country has also committed to the pursuance of good neighborliness, peaceful coexistence and unity of Latin America and Caribbean. He said too that the country has taken note of Guyana's position that it is committed to the process of the International Court of Justice for the resolution of the controversy. However, MP Walton Desir submitted that while Venezuela committed to peace and good neighborliness, it does not address the issue of interference of Guyana's ability to administer Essequibo.
It certainly is not the only way that our administration and control of the Essequibo could be interfered with. And I want to draw his attention to Article 9 of this agreement. Because Article 9 says that they will have to speak, in essence, with Venezuela on any matter that has implications for the territory. And I am deeply, deeply disappointed, deeply concerned that the Honourable Minister is suggesting to the people of Guyana that the threat of the use of force is the only way that our administration and control of the Essequibo could be interfered with.
But the foreign minister in response said there was no oversight on the part of the government, as was being suggested by the opposition. He said the president and his administration have committed to ensuring the protection and maintenance of Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also the maintenance of peace and security.
The president has made it very clear to the people of Guyana and to the people of this region that we will explore all available options to ensure that we have a peaceful coexistence with Venezuela.
And he further clarified that Article 9 of the declaration allows for the two countries to discuss issues of mutual interest that are outside of the controversy. The foreign minister also briefed the Assembly on the December 1 ruling of the International Court of Justice. More news coming up in just a moment.
'Twas the start of GTT Christmas and all through the land. Not a smartphone was silent, all buzzing in hand. The stockings were hung by the modem with care, in hopes that GTT prizes would soon be here. They say top up a grand or activate a data plan, and just find the letters to GTT Xmas in the land. Plus, pay your bills on time, don't be a Grinch, and you could be a winner of the GTT Mega Million.
Oh my lord! I just love to shop in this store. My customers them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
It's your time to win big! The Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot promotion is back and bigger than before. Spend $5,000 at any Massey Stores to be the lucky winner of a brand new MGZS and fantastic weekly store prizes from now until January 31st, 2024. What are you waiting for? Head to your nearest Massey Stores to shop now. See our Facebook and Instagram pages for more details. Massey Stores, our family serving your family.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that me crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Mansour Nadir, today blocked a motion that was filed by the opposition, which was seeking to establish a multi-stakeholder task force to address issues arising out of the Venezuela-Guyana border controversy. IEP and new AFC Member of Parliament David Patterson, in tabling the motion, sought an adjournment of the National Assembly to treat with the motion, which he described as a definite matter of urgent public importance. But the Speaker in his ruling said the issue was not an urgent one. Further, he said a resolved clause which called on the government to establish a multi-party and multi-stakeholder task force to address all aspects of the controversy was addressed in an earlier motion passed by the National Assembly.
On November the 6th, when we debated and resolved unanimously in the National Assembly, one of the resolved clause calls for deepening engagement among all national stakeholders on issue relating to sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, particularly within the context of the meetings of the Bipartisan Ministerial Advisory Committee on Guyana Venezuela controversy. So that has a lot of similarity with your resolve also.
In handing down the ruling, the Speaker relied on a 2008 ruling by former Speaker Ralph Ramkaran, in which it was said that a motion similar in nature to one already resolved in the House cannot be deliberated upon during the same session. But MP Patterson told the National Assembly that while the Argyle talks between the two presidents might have eased the tension, Guyana must use the time to prepare for any further acts of aggression by Venezuela.
I believe that the effort in achieving the Aral Declaration was commendable. However, we do feel that Venezuela will not rest and will continue to have efforts to undermine Guyana's sovereignty. Sir, the Aral Declaration, sir, has offered us a break in Venezuela's aggressive behavior. And we must use this break, sir, to be prepared.
He said the need for the multi-stakeholder task force still exists. MP Patterson also told the House that a bipartisan ministerial advisory committee on the Guyana-Venezuela controversy has not met in recent times.
Sir, it is urgent and immediate, sir. You made reference to a ministerial task force, sir, since the November meeting of this assembly has not met. Sir, the foreign, and that has not met, the ministerial meeting, sir, has not met. Sir, the Foreign Relations Committee, sir, has met twice.
According to the Aral Declaration, the two countries have agreed not to threaten or use force against one another in any circumstances, including those that are consequential to any existing controversy between them. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa today defended the government's decision to continuously bail out the cash-strapped Guy Suko, telling the Committee of Supply in the National Assembly that a recently reopened Rose Hall Sugar Estate will be one of the most productive estates, despite its current underperformance. At the time, the Agriculture Minister, Zulfikar Mustafa, was defending the use of $643.69 million from the Contingency Fund to assist Guy Suko in paying wages and salaries. Of the total sum, $383 million was used to pay wages, while salaries totaled $172 million. The remaining $88 million was used to pay pension. In response to a series of questions posed by Opposition Member of Parliament Vince Roy Jordan, the Agriculture Minister explained that the opening of the Rose Hall Estate had warranted the added subvention.
We reopened Rose Hall Estate. Rose Hall Estate now is producing sugar. We have employed a total of 543 new employees. And we employ these people because of the mechanization program we have started. And you must also see those persons are from the area of Rose Hall who were severed when the factory was closed.
And he refuted claims that Guy Suko, notwithstanding receiving additional funding, was unable to pay salary and wages on time. The Agriculture Minister said as of now, the Rose Hall Estate is performing below expectation.
Now we have produced 1,000 tons of sugar, just over 1,000 tons, because the canes and the land that we expected to meet, we did not meet when we went there. So now we are doing the mechanization. I know for a fact that Rose Hall will be one of the most productive estates again in Guy Suko.
And asked by MP Jordan whether the Rose Hall Estate would have made a profit on the sugar produced and sold since its reopening, the Minister of Agriculture said the estate is now working to rebuild its capacity.
In the first crop, the initial crop, you had an estate now is producing once again that was closed by the opposition, by the government then. Now we are trying to rebuild that estate plantation back. The estate is running effectively. All the parts have been rehabilitated. And shortly, yes, we will make profit. But you can't expect to make profit in the first crop to produce 1,031 tons.
He also said future crops will be better as the Guyana Sugar Corporation focuses on mechanization and modernization. However, Member of Parliament for the Opposition, Kemraj Ramjatan, registered his disappointment that the Agriculture Minister was unable to provide the House with a clear timeline as to when the Rose Hall Estate is expected to become profitable.
Is there absolutely no projection by this minister as to when it is going to become profitable?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Chair, we have a lot of projection. Unlike the opposition, now, when we ask them to do a socio-economic study at Rose Hall and then destroy it, we had this year, we set a target and we'll reach that target. Next year, we set a target and we'll reach that target. And we'll continue to set projections. We'll continue, for example, we said we want to start the mechanization process. We have started it. We are now advancing in that stage because we know for a fact that harvesters, cane cutters, we are not finding so many cane cutters now. That is why we want to mechanize. So the point I am trying to say, Guy Suko is moving into a different phase. And the honourable member to appreciate what we are doing.
Noting that Guy Suko is the single largest employer in the country, the Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa told the Committee of Supply that the government will continue to invest in the Sugar Corporation to keep the industry alive.
A third oil production vessel, the Prosperity FPSO, has begun producing oil offshore Guyana. This project was delivered under budget and ahead of schedule. The Payara development will take production to over 600,000 barrels of oil per day next year, resulting in more revenues for Guyana.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo, from its pristine rivers to its abundant resources. It's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect, and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
So far for this year, the Guyana Fire Service has responded to 510 building fires and more than 800 grass fires, the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, announced today. He made a statement in the National Assembly while responding to questions from Opposition Member of Parliament Gita Chandon Edmund, as he justified the allocation of an additional $24 million in supplementary funding for the fire service. The Home Affairs Minister said there is no denying that there has been an increase in the number of fires across the country.
There has been a large requirement for responses to fires in this dry season. We have the El Nino on us. Temperatures have been going up to 34, 35 degrees Celsius. Particularly in country areas where it has been dry, there have been a lot of grass fires.
Minister Ben said a number of those fires were also maliciously set and remain under police investigation, adding that amid the increase in fires, the fire service has found itself building its capacity.
The sum that we're requiring is just $24 million. There have been a number of new assets which we have procured. 2 new excavators, and we brought online a couple of new assets, including a new firefighting unit at the airport, an aerodrome firefighting unit, and a ladder for going up to rescue people.
The Committee of Supply was also told that the fire service continues to work in collaboration with the ambulance service. And so far for this year, the ambulance service has received more than 6,000 calls countrywide for ambulance assistance. However, the Home Affairs Minister sounded the alarm once again about the high number of prank calls coming into the fire service. The Guyana Prison Service today announced that female prisoners who are currently being housed at the New Amsterdam prison will be moved to the Temeri prison from tomorrow. The move is a temporary one. The women offenders will be housed at Temeri while construction works are being carried out at the New Amsterdam jail to the tune of over $1 billion. Meanwhile, the male prisoners that are currently being housed at Temeri will be moved to the Lusignan jail, the prison service reported. It was also reported today that works are moving apace on the new female prison, which is also located at Lusignan. The new prison is expected to be completed by the first quarter of next year and will replace the female prison in New Amsterdam upon its completion. On the police blotter now, police on the west coast of Berbice are investigating the murder of 27-year-old Dwayne Byers, called Edo, of Golden Fleece, West Coast, Berbice. The self-employed man was stabbed to death this afternoon at Paradise on the west coast of Berbice during a domino game at the shop. A police statement on the murder indicated that Byers and a 26-year-old man, identified as Nasio Allen, were at the shop playing domino when they got into a confrontation and a fight over the game. It is reported that during that fight, Allen pulled out a knife and stabbed Byers in his abdomen before running out of the shop with a murder weapon. The injured man collapsed in the shop and was rushed to the Maikoni Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The suspect, Nasio Allen, later showed up at the Weldad police station and informed the police there that he was first attacked by the other man, who he claimed ran into the knife while he was holding it in his hands. The suspect was immediately arrested as the investigations continue.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water, now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall in the region. CMC in a report said the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has revoked the license of Bond Bank Limited to carry on banking business effective December 15th this year. In a brief statement, the ECCB, which serves as a central bank for the islands of Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Montserrat, said the Bond Bank Limited was subsumed into the operations of the Bank of Nevis Limited since January this year. It said as a result, the Nevis-based financial institution had ceased to conduct banking business, and the move to revoke the license will have no effect on the operations of the Bank of Nevis Limited. Bond Bank Limited was formerly RBTT Bank, SKN Limited, and owned by the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC. Chileans have rejected a new constitution proposed by conservative delegates that would have affected laws in areas including abortion access, the ability to strike, and rights for indigenous people. The new charter would have replaced the current one written during the military regime of Jean Agustin Pinochet. In a referendum on Sunday, the draft was rejected by 56% of the voters, while 44% voted in favor of the reform. Voters had already rejected a progressive draft last year. Efforts to replace Chile's existing constitution, adopted in 1980 under the Pinochet dictatorship, began in 2019 following anti-government demonstrations. The protesters, many of them left-wing students, called for measures to address inequality and the cost of living crisis, as well as social and political reforms. After weeks of unrest, the conservative president at the time, Sebastián Piñera, agreed to launch a process to rewrite Chile's constitution. And finally tonight, international news. Gas pollution hit Iceland's capital after a volcano began erupting late on Monday, the country's Met Office has said. According to the BBC, the eruption, which broke out in the Reykjanes Peninsula of southwest Iceland, comes after weeks of intense earthquakes and tremors. Fumes could reach Reykjavik by Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning. About 4,000 people were evacuated last month from Greenwich, a fishing town threatened by the lava flow. A resident there described as crazy and scary scenes on Monday night and said she could still see the volcano exploding on Tuesday. Iceland has been braced for volcanic activity for weeks. Since late October, the region around Reykjavik has been experiencing an increase in earthquake activity. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.